It has become increasingly evident that Tarkov has faced some serious challenges in this last wipe, ranging from rampant cheaters to game-breaking bugs and to the rat life taking over everybody. Although efforts have been made to address these issues, they haven't fully been resolved yet. In order to reignite the interest and engagement of players in this coming wipe, it is critical that the game introduces new and captivating features. In this video, I will discuss several aspects that I believe that Tarkov needs to reclaim its former glory. Now, one thing that we do know is BSG like to do these events to try and beta test us players to see whether we will like or dislike some features that they're going to add in the future game. Now, some of these features have been incredibly good and have been well received by the community and player base, and some have been terrible to the point where majority of players actually come off playing the game until these events finish, and we all know what events they were. But like I said, there have been some amazing events as well, and a lot of this stuff has also been implemented into the game based off the player feedback. And because this is such a crucial time for Tarkov, these current events that are happening right now, we really as a community need to get behind to get some of these features implemented into the game, because we know we need them to help reignite the player base back into this wipe. Now, I want to talk about one of the most recent events, what was the airdrop event. This is where an airdrop was replaced with its normal loot pool, where you just get a random assortment of stuff, where it could be meds, could be components, could be weapon parts, could be a gun, could be anything, with the weapon crate system where you have 2 weapon crates in it, you don't know what's in it, you put it in your backpack, you have to extract from the raid, and then you unload it, and what you'll get is a gun with the full attachments, what just fit this specific gun, with the best ammo in slot for it as well. So you essentially have a full kitted gun without even having to build or do anything with it. Now, I think the concept for this is amazing. There definitely needs to be some tweaks done to this, and I'm going to get into that now. Now, in its current state, we know it's very overpowered and definitely needs to be toned back, because it is currently at the moment crashed the Tarkov economy, loaded players full of some of the best ammo in the game, some ammo that most of us never even got a full stack of to even use in guns in the first place. Now, how I think they could implement this is by, in the early part of the wipe, we could start off with some of the low to mid tier gear, your basic AKs, some M4s with low end attachment to mid attachments. Say for the AK, for instance, we have like the BT or BP ammo in it, kind of balance it out. It's not super overpowered, but it is still a really good round for the early part of the wipe. And as the later part of the wipe comes, we can up this and start introducing some of those more powerful rounds, more powerful weapons to keep people wanting to go for these airdrops, because they'll be worthwhile with the amount of loot value that you'll get from these weapon crates. Now, I don't think they should stop here. There is also another thing that they could be adding into it as well, because they've tested out the weapon crates, but why not have med cases? Why not have injector cases? Why not have ammo boxes? Why not have ration boxes or tech crates? Stuff that's going to help out players within different part of the wipe. So instead of adding weapon crates in the beginning part of the wipe, if they wanted to do it that way, we could have component boxes, or we could have like the injector cases, for instance, because we all know, for instance, supplies, as everybody knows, is a pain in the ass to try and do that quest within the first couple of weeks, because trying to find those injectors is just problematic. And we all know that majority of the places to get those is on labs, and majority of the player base just don't like playing that map. 1, because all of the best players go there, and 2, because it's riddled with cheaters. So it would give other people an option to go and get this quest done without having to go to those maps that people don't like. And then we could have component boxes. So these could be filled with loads of different found in raid items that we need for certain specific quests. Doesn't have to be for quests, could be anything. There's loads of stuff that could be used for barter items or anything like that. But again, it would really help out people with getting some of those early quests complete, some of the ones that people get stuck on and just really can't move forward with. For instance, med cases, the Slayer quest. I can't tell you how many times I've been stuck on that quest, because for the love of God, I can't find a Slayer or the last one that I need to finish off that quest. Even going to the places where I know where they spawn doesn't always guarantee that they're going to be there, but with a chance of having an airdrop what would have a med case in it, it would super help me out. And not even that, good meds early on in the game are hard to come by. Having med cases that you could find in these airdrops would be extremely valuable to people in the early part of the wipe. Food cases could also be one as well, but I'm not entirely sure what I think about that. It could be useful, but to be fair, I can imagine a lot of people are getting to the airdrops and thinking like, I got the food crate, and that's like, kind of a waste of time, and I should never have bothered in the first place. So I'll let you guys in the comment section decide whether you think that might be a good idea or a bad idea. And I also think this would really help the PvP and the flow of the game as well, because as we know at the moment, most players don't even bother going for the crates because realistically most of the time just get a lot of rubbish that nobody really cares about. So having like a half decent chance to get some stuff for your quests would really incentivize people going for the airdrops, what would then in turn have more PvP, and incent risking fighting and dying is worthwhile going for this instead of just running into where you need to get your certain items, putting it in your backpack and running straight for the extract. You're going to have to fight people over these because like I said, at the moment, most people don't go for them, so there's no need to even fight for them in the first place. Now, there's a couple of ways they could implement this. I've kind of had some thought about this, and they could currently remove half of the rubbish that we have in the airdrops at the moment and then add in maybe a chance of having a med box or a weapon box or something along the lines of that. Or they could completely scrap the current system and then just put in this stuff so you can only find weapon boxes, med boxes, injector cases, and that kind of stuff. I really want to hear your guys' opinion on this, so please put down in the comments below if they were to implement this, which version would you want? Still the random assortment of stuff in there with the boxes to go along with it, or would you prefer just to be this box system in place? The next thing I wanted to talk about was the time spent outside of raid. At the moment, this needs to be dramatically reduced. And I know they're already kind of talking about these features at the moment and being added in the future, but I really think this needs to be a priority at the moment, because most of us at the moment spend more time in queue or building kits than we actually do spend in the game. And majority of the time when we're going in with kits, it's normally rinse and repeat kits we've already used before, so using the same things over and over again. And don't even get me talking about the fact of having to wait for that one slow friend who's just sitting there meticulously changing certain parts and just taking forever just to queue up to get into a raid. I end up spending at least another 10 minutes just waiting for him. And they could do this by adding a kit builder into the game. So having a system in place where you're only a couple of clicks away and it automatically buys your gun, all the attachments for it, the ammunition, your meds, your food, everything that you need to bring into a raid to get ready to fight. And again, I know this has already been worked on, this just needs to be a priority because so much time is being wasted in the menus right now other than actually playing the game. Now, I did some rough maths in my head trying to work out like how much time is spent where, and at the moment you're spending roughly about 10 minutes in your stash building stuff before you actually queue in to even get in a game in the first place, rather than spending 1 to 2 minutes with a kit builder and then getting straight into the queue. And then when you start adding the queue timers onto that, say you spend 10 minutes building your kit and then another 5 minutes in your queue, that's 15 minutes wasted to then go into a raid and die within the first couple of minutes anyway. And if you start thinking about the main player base of the game, most people only have between 1 to 2 hours to actually play EFT anyway. So when you start taking into a fact if they're building 2 kits and then queuing up twice, that's 30 minutes wasted just queuing and building before you even get into a raid in the first place. So that's only 2 full raids you can do a day. And that's your average person for that. And that doesn't even include going into a raid and dying immediately and having to go back to the menus again to go through the whole process again. And I'm also sure there's more stuff that they could be thinking of right now to help improve the game. And this is where we come in as the community, because it's been shown in the past loads by streamers and by the community on Reddit and stuff like that, that the more we voice our opinions and when we come up with good ideas and people back them, they usually get implemented. Pestilly is a massive advocate for this. I've seen so many times where he's come up with ideas to help improve certain systems and he spoke about them, and then a couple of weeks later they get implemented into the game. So we need you guys to get involved and let us know. So comment below whether you think some of this stuff is a good idea or a bad idea, and if you are, make sure to share it around with your friends and tell people about it, just so the more people are talking about it, the more likely it is going to get added into the game. And if you like this video, then you're going to like this one as well. So I've done a pre-flea market Chad kidding loadout. You can find that here. And if you want some longer form content, go check us out on Twitch. I stream 5 days a week and the link will be in the description below. And again, have a great day.